Welcome to the boardroom, everyone. Look, today we're not just passively reviewing a textbook, we're tossing that old school mentality right out the window. Instead, we are treating your upcoming Cambridge exam like a high stakes Silicon Valley venture capital pitch. In this arena, examiner marks, those are your currency. And your absolute bulletproof mastery of Module 4.4, Newton's laws on inclined planes, well, that is your highest yield asset. I am your managing director for this session, and in this explainer, we're going to rigorously audit exactly what those top-tier investors, the principal examiners, are looking for. We are going to decode the logic, debug your current approach, and scale your final valuation to its absolute peak on test day. Are you ready? Let's get to work. So let's identify your target market. It's Cambridge Syllabus Code 9709. Now, I see a lot of candidates walk into this pitch thinking they can just flash a few memorized formulas and secure the funding. No way. The difference between a middle-of-the-road B valuation and a maximum tier A-star valuation doesn't come down to just knowing the physics. It comes down to hacking the strict mechanics of the examiner mark scheme itself. To show you what I mean, I want you to imagine two founders pitching to me right now. Let's call them Alex and Sam. Alex is our highly technical developer. Super smart, overloads the deck with raw facts and formulas, but totally lacks a clear strategy to actually monetize that data. Then we have Sam, our charismatic marketer. Sam delivers this highly persuasive narrative pitch about objects sliding down hills, but has zero hard mathematical data to back it up, completely misses the rigid command word constraints. Right now, both of their minimum viable products, their exam answers, are drifting. We are going to decode the exact infrastructure you need to build to merge the best of Alex and Sam, guaranteeing your funding and securing every single available mark. Okay, let's dive into this masterclass in educational asset flow. We've got a tight, structured roadmap to optimize your pitch. Number 1, the valuation baseline. Number 2, core theoretical assets. Number 3, the method mark matrix. Number 4, auditing compliance liabilities. And finally, number 5, elevating to evaluative polish. Let's move straight into phase 1, which is the valuation baseline. Before you even step foot in the exam hall, you absolutely have to understand what the valuation board is scoring you on. The assessment framework for Module 4.4 targets 3 distinct cognitive domains, or what I like to call your performance metrics: knowledge, application, and analysis. But what does that actually mean when you're staring at the paper? Well, let's look back at our founders. If Alex just recites the basic formula for friction, that's just baseline knowledge. It won't cut it for top-tier funding. And if Sam just talks about pushing a block up a ramp, that's weak application. You have to demonstrate logical, mathematical reasoning. You need analysis. Think about the Cambridge command words. If the question says evaluate and you give a descriptive pitch, your valuation margin crashes instantly. You need to show exactly why the normal reaction force changes when the angle of the incline changes. You have to prove the mechanics behind the motion, not just plug numbers into an equation. The examiners are hunting for a deep, robust technical foundation. Let's transition into phase 2, acquiring your core theoretical assets. This right here is the literal difference between a baseline candidate and an elite top-tier candidate. Let's head into the tech war room with Alex and Sam. They're trying to re-architect their pitch. Alex wants to focus entirely on deep, isolated textbook definition dumps, just dropping friction equals mu times r on the page and calling it a day. But Sam is fighting to build a connected narrative. And guess what? The Cambridge Principal Examiner reports explicitly state that the theoretical architecture of this module rests on cross-topic connections. Candidates who actively reference these connections, like seamlessly linking kinematics or integrating energy conservation's principles straight into the forces acting on that inclined plane, those are the candidates who achieve significantly higher mark valuations. So don't just isolate your variables, merge them. If you can show how the work done against friction drains the kinetic energy of that sliding mass, you're building an unassailable model response paragraph. Now, to lock these core concepts into your long-term storage before the funding clock expires, you need to engage the visual story method. This is a massive memory hack. Instead of staring blindly at abstract force vectors and getting lost in the geometry, I want you to visualize the physical scenario like a movie. Imagine the weight of the object, right? Represented by mg. It's acting straight down, relentlessly pulling it toward the core of the Earth. Then the normal reaction, r, pushing back aggressively but strictly perpendicular to the surface of the incline. And then there's friction, calculated as mu times r, always fighting the exact direction of motion. By turning raw, intimidating formulas like mg sine theta into a vivid physical story of forces battling each other on a slope, you create this rock-solid mental model. You encode the concepts so deeply that you can recall them instantly, even under the highest pressure of the exam. All right, moving on to phase 3, let's look at the method mark matrix. This is where we secure your guaranteed return on investment. In Cambridge mechanics, the final number you write down isn't the only thing being valued. The exact procedural logic, the code you write to get there, is heavily rewarded via method marks. It's a strict, highly profitable algorithm. Step 1. Deconstruct the question. Read the brief and understand the exact market parameters. Step 2. Extract the relevant data. Pull the mass, the incline angles, the friction coefficients right out of the text and list them. Step 3. Select your analytical framework. This means setting up your F equals ma equations, one parallel to the plane, one perpendicular. You're building the structural frame. Step 4. Execute with perfectly clear notation. Label your mu and your theta so clearly that an investor can read it from across the room. Step 5. Present the output with the exact correct terminology. If you follow this strict chronological protocol, you lock in those critical method marks. Even if a minor arithmetic bug hits your final calculation line, your structural logic keeps your valuation high. Of course, no venture is entirely without risk. Phase 4 is auditing compliance liabilities. Valuation pause, stop the clock, freeze the presentation deck. Before we unlock the final architecture to scale your grades, you need to optimize your educational asset flow. Take just 1 second right now to subscribe to Ace the Exams at @AceTheExams. Hit that bell icon and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly high-yield strategy drops, whether you're hacking IGCSE, O-levels, or ASNA levels. Got it? Okay, back to the pitch. Our founders, Alex and Sam, just hit a massive system bug mid-paragraph. Their evidence links completely dropped out, threatening a total valuation crash. Why? Because they ignored the top 3 examiner warnings. Number 1, the vague answers lacking detail. Investors hate vague. They want mathematically rigorous justifications. Number 2, forgotten formatting. In Module 4.4, this specifically means they fail to draw a clear force diagram. If you skip drawing that diagram, you lose your logical anchor and your whole PEAL structure, point, evidence, explain, link, collapses. And number 3, answers not specific to the context. Let's expand on that last liability, because it's a killer. The crucial point is summarized perfectly in this direct alert from the valuation board. The classic mistake is providing generic answers not specific to the question context. Always link every point to the given scenario. Listen to me. If you just drop a generic textbook definition of Newton's second law without explicitly tying it to the specific inclined plane in front of you, like without resolving the mg cosine theta component or specifically addressing if the surface in the prompt is rough or smooth, you are operating way outside of compliance. Context is absolutely king here. Failing to link your math to their specific scenario is a massive compliance liability, and it will cause your marks to plummet. Finally, we reach Phase 5, elevating to evaluative polish. This is how you close the deal. I'm handing control over to you for a live viewer venture audit. We're running a rapid market scan. Imagine a complex diagram on your exam paper. You have a strict hierarchy to your cognitive approach. Look at the descriptive tier. If you're just listing basic terminology, like our founder Alex sometimes does, that's a low-tier valuation. If you step up to the analytical tier, you're extracting relationships, maybe calculating the exact acceleration of the mass down the plane. That is solid, reliable profit. But to hit the absolute top band, to get that $1 million A-star valuation, you must reach the evaluative tier. Higher order assessment objectives demand that you evaluate alternatives, compare different approaches, and justify your mathematical recommendations with rigorous, undeniable evidence. Time for challenge 2 in our audit. Identify the compliance liability. Look at a medium-tier student response. Where does it fail? It usually fails because it doesn't question assumptions. Top-scoring candidates literally prove their evaluative polish on the page. They actively question the parameters. They write down, assuming the plane is perfectly smooth, or they explicitly note that air resistance is modeled as negligible. They consider different perspectives and evaluate the quality of the evidence provided. They identify the physical limitations of the mathematical model itself, and they show exactly how those limitations affect the final output. When you identify the flaws in the theoretical model while providing your solution, you prove to the examiner that you aren't just a calculator. You are an analyst. So as our founders, Alex and Sam, deliver their newly engineered, perfectly compliant response paragraph, we can watch their grade valuation meter peak at that maximum A-star score. The Series A funding is secured. I'm going to distill this entire session into 3 universal rules for you. Number 1, the 3-step question scan. Always decode the context first. Number 2, the scale budget allocation. Manage your time based on the method marks available. And number 3, the final quality review checklist. Draw your force diagrams and check your assumptions. I leave you with this provocative question. Are you just calculating numbers on a page, or are you strategically valuing every single variable to maximize your exam pitch? If you're ready to conquer your next paper, subscribe to Ace the Exams at @Ace the Exams. Click that notification bell for our weekly grade masterclasses, and right now drop a comment below sharing exactly which Cambridge subject and level, IGCSE, O, AS, or A level, you are preparing to conquer next. Let's get to work, and I'll see you in the next explainer.